I know you think it's unlikely that the Browns take Hunter and then can trade back in and miraculously swoop in and find a way to get Sanders and Hunter and keep them together. Why do you think that's unlikely?
So I actually, to be clear, I'd be 100% for this idea, especially after what I just espoused about my thoughts on Shedeur Sanders. I think he's going to be a really good player. So I'd love it if they could land both. And Andrew Berry sort of alluded to that after the pro day at Colorado last week, where he said, "Can I have both?" in some comments to cleveland.com that I know I saw. So it's not that I don't think they would consider it or it's not possible. Like, yes, they always could try to do it and thread that needle. I just think it's going to be more difficult to do than what people are sort of letting on. If they're trying to go from 33 back into the top 10, that's going to take a pretty massive haul to do. Like, they're going to have to give up a first round pick again next year to pull off a move like that up the board. If he falls past the Saints, and the Saints kind of feels like at 9 the sweet spot where he goes if he makes it past the Browns and the Giants, which we're assuming he will at this point, then I think that's where all bets are off in terms of where he goes. But what's interesting is like that next team in line to potentially take him is the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21, the Browns' biggest rival. And so to get from 33 to 20 is maybe a little bit of a lesser price. You'd give up 33. You might have to give up one or both of your third rounders this year. Maybe pick 104 in the fourth round. Maybe a future like third or second. And I always try to be clear with this too, Dave, because people love using the draft value chart that exists out there to like figure out what it would cost to move up and down the board. But that chart is just a guide. Generally, when you look at like the trades that are made up and down the draft board, teams almost always have to overpay based off what that chart is telling you. It's never just like a even like this is the point value for this pick and you make it all kind of equal each other. You always almost have to overpay, especially when you're trying to get up and get a quarterback. So just kind of thinking through like what the Browns would have to give up. Andrew Berry rarely trades up. He trades down quite a bit. He rarely trades up. He did it the one time with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. So if they feel so inclined that Shedeur Sanders, first of all, if they feel inclined that Shedeur Sanders is good enough that they should trade back into the top 10, then they probably should just take him at 2 anyway. So if he falls into the 20s, I could see it. I just think it's going to cost more than what people understand. And for that reason, I think they probably wait and then maybe still take a quarterback late first round because I think having that 5th-year option is valuable. So yeah, if Shedeur fell to that point, sure. But I think they either wait to see if Shedeur falls even further past like the early 20s, or they just kind of stand pat and then maybe trade up a couple spots to get the quarterback that they maybe view is not quite not that far behind how they value Shedeur, how they graded Shedeur. And that might be like a Jalen Milroe or a Tyler Shuck or maybe a Jackson Dart. But I just think it's going to be more difficult than people think. And the value of what it's going to take to get up, the draft capital you're going to have to sort of give up to get there is more than I think people understand.